I'm John Sullivan. I'm a former FBI executive and spent 17 years of my career at the FBI. What we're seeing come out of Washington right now is pure amateur hour. And the bullshit we're seeing come from FBI Director Kash Patel is next level. So I don't want to say I told you so after I've been speaking out about how less safe Donald Trump and Kash Patel are making our country. So instead, let's count the ways that Kash Patel is completely incompetent at his job. Number one, he's cosplaying as an FBI agent. This guy isn't even qualified to be an agent, and instead he's wearing a little toy badge and running around like he's some sort of Rambo. That's pretty crazy. Number two, he's actually firing the FBI agents who know how to get the job done and conduct those investigations. What's he doing though? He's firing them because of some sort of weird political retribution campaign, some sort of loyalty test. That's fucking insane. Number three, he's live tweeting major high-level political assassination investigations like the Charlie Kirk investigation. And he doesn't even know when he has the right fucking guy. Instead, when asked about it, why was he tweeting those things out? He says, I didn't make a mistake. He was making all of us less safe while there was a killer out on the loose and saying that there was somebody that was apprehended by the FBI. Number four, Kash Patel has been moving FBI personnel and agents and analysts from key investigations. Domestic terrorism, child exploitation, they don't matter to Kash Patel. He's been moving all of them to deportations. This guy has been complaining and yelling about the Epstein investigation for the last 4 years. That's why it's number 4 on the list. And what has he been saying ever since he got the files? Nothing to see here. So what really changed? We know what changed. He was hired by Donald Trump to save Donald Trump's ass. And finally, Kash Patel has decided that he is going to go to hearings and yell and scream like some little petulant child because everybody in that room knows he's incompetent at his job. And why is he performing that way? He's performing that way so Daddy Trump will be very happy with his performance as director. Look, Kash Patel has decided that he is just going to ignore his oath, and he is in this for one reason and one reason only. That's not to protect the American people, but it's to protect Donald J. Trump. It's disgusting.
Habeas corpus is a constitutional right that the president has to be able to remove people from this country.
No, excuse me, that's incorrect.
It's no surprise that Kristi Noem doesn't know what our fundamental constitutional rights mean. A writ of habeas corpus requires somebody to bring the person who's detained before the court. It's a fundamental legal principle allowing somebody who's detained to challenge that detention. It's used if there's no other way to get before the court. If, for instance, there are no more appeals, or if there is somebody before an immigration judge. The writ of habeas corpus requires the state to explain the reason for detention, and it is a fundamental American constitutional right.
Hey everyone, it's Congressman Garcia. I just wanted to update everybody right now on what's happening with ICE. And so today, our committee, the Oversight Democrats, we have launched an investigation into Kristi Noem, Stephen Miller, ICE, and the horrific actions that are happening right now, not just here in California and Los Angeles, but across the country. And we've been very clear, we're actually working with the LA Mayor, Karen Bass. We've been very clear that what is happening, these kidnappings of people are absolutely illegal, outrageous, and terrorizing the community. They're literally picking people up because of the color of their skin and throwing them in detention centers without any due process. Over half of the people in these detention centers right now have never even committed a crime. And so this is completely against the Constitution. And what we've said, we've been very honest. Look, obviously, if you're committing serious crimes in this country, no one wants you here. We get that. That's not what this is about. What this is actually about are law-abiding folks, working people, yes, many immigrants who are here at car washes or working in the kitchen of our favorite restaurants. People are being targeted for no reason. It's wrong and it needs to end. And so Kristi Noem and Stephen Miller, we are now putting a massive investigation on everything you're doing in place. We will not be stopped. We're going to hold ICE and everyone else accountable.
Let's do a little economics lesson. When cattle numbers are low, beef prices are going to be high. The U.S. herd is the smallest it's been in decades. Drought and high feed costs force ranchers to downsize. Drought means less grass, more expensive feed, and higher production costs. Restrictions and tariffs are cutting into supply and raising costs. Labor, fuel, and packaging are all more expensive. You can't grow a herd overnight. It takes years to recover cattle numbers. This is the first time in about 20 years that cattle producers are actually doing pretty well and are in the green in the market right now. Having 50% tariffs on Brazil is not really what's helping us. What's truly helping us is our beef in the United States is the safest and healthiest product that you can find in the world. And guess what? Consumers are still buying our product despite the high beef prices right now because it's safe and they trust us. Now, I don't have a crystal ball, but we will see what happens when we have extra beef coming in from different countries like Argentina or Brazil. But something tells me that the consumer is behind the American rancher. Let me know what you think.
Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's Anthony, and it's always amazing having you here and watching these videos. We make engagement, we talk, we listen, we engage. It's all amazing, right? So I'm sure that you comment, because that's the most important part of this video, right? So that you can share ideologies. Do you think that Trump's government is made up of DI hires, right? Tell me in the comment section, because I would like to discuss.
Okay, since no one's going to say it, I'm going to say it. Let's just call it what it is. This Trump administration isn't some showcase of brilliance or strategy or moral authority. It is a showcase of white mediocrity, broadcast for the entire world to see. If you think about it, they scream about being the greatest. They scream about being the smartest, the most patriotic. But when the spotlight hits them, what do we see? Corruption, incompetence, lies stacked on top of lies. A government so insecure it has to redraw maps, it has to silence voters, it has to attack its own citizens just to hold on to power. And the world is watching. Countries overseas are looking at America, shaking their heads, saying, "This is America? This is what we were told was the standard for democracy?" Because for centuries, whiteness carried itself alongside, synonymous with excellence, while dismissing black and brown excellence as inferior. But Trump's administration has blown that myth to pieces, because globally, people see it now. Whiteness in power doesn't guarantee wisdom. It doesn't guarantee justice. It doesn't even guarantee competence. All it guarantees is access. Access, handed down through a rigged system that protects mediocrity as long as it wears the right skin. So let's be clear. This ain't about every white person, but it is about the fact that Trump has exposed the truth, that the old story of white superiority was never superiority at all. It was all smoke and mirrors, and now the smoke has cleared. So what comes next, right? If America wants respect on the world stage again, it won't come through Trump. It won't come through clinging to whiteness. It will come through honesty, justice, and multiracial democracy that values talent, not skin. Because the global stage just learned what we've always known. When you strip away the privilege, white mediocrity can't hold a candle.
So it turns out it's going to be beef. Beef is what is going to get everybody in my hometown and my family to turn against Trump. People who were very vocal in their support of Trump are now complaining because of his stance on importing cattle and beef from Argentina. That is where they are taking their stand. They're signing petitions, they're posting on Facebook, they're so upset. And I get it, it's their livelihood, so I understand that, and I don't agree with his plan either. But here's the thing, I've been advocating for months for my disabled son. Advocating and telling everyone how he's losing access to schooling already, how his insurance isn't helping us anymore. He's losing his insurance. How the price of his medication has increased astronomically in the last few months, and nobody cared. And if I said anything about him losing access to schooling, how the SPED department was being defunded, they said I was wrong. They said Trump wouldn't do that, but when he does something to them that affects them, they now care. And it bothers me so much. It bothers me that cows matter more than my disabled son. To my family even.
The Trump administration just made a 28-year-old with no human law enforcement experience the second in command at ICE. If you're wondering why I said human law enforcement experience, it's because her previous role was as the secretary of the Louisiana Department of Wildlife and Fisheries. Multiple reports suggest that internal ICE officials are making fun of how wildly unqualified she is for this role, calling her the fish cop. The best part is that when she was asked to defend her qualifications, she said, "I absolutely think I'm qualified for the job because at the end of the day, what really makes anybody qualified for any job?" I can't help but point out the fact that this is the same administration that rolled back all DEI initiatives, claiming that they led to people who were unqualified getting important jobs. But now, at the head of ICE, we have Barbie and Fish Cop. Look, it's easy to make fun of these two, but the consequences here are very real. ICE has become the most militarized police force in United States history. With so much funding, they had to hire their own economist to handle it all. Mismanagement of this agency will lead to a massive waste of taxpayer dollars at best and rampant human rights abuses at worst. But don't worry, guys, we defeated the woke lib virus of DEI and put 2 random unqualified white women in charge.
Let's continue watching these videos. They are really amazing because what I can see, people claiming is that the Trump administration has failed. It's really in shambles. They don't have solution for anything. That's why you see them militarizing our cities. That's why you see them spreading hatred. That's why you see them lie, blame, and repeat the lies. So let's continue watching.
If you are involved in the beef industry, you probably well know that the market is down the limit today. With a few words from our president, we have watched everyone start to scramble, wondering what's going to happen. You know, American agriculture stood behind you, President Trump, and we put full faith in your ability to put America first, particularly American production, which comes down to the farmers and the ranchers that feed this great nation, that keep her free, that are the backbone. And as all of us wonder if the borders are going to open or what is going to happen, all of us are wondering a little bit about domestic agriculture. This is the first time in a long time that as cattlemen and women that we've actually been on top, where that banknote isn't going to be quite as hard to make. We don't want a bailout. We don't want all of those things. We want a free market. We want a market where we are actually getting paid a fair price, where we have the opportunity to keep up with all of the input costs that are going through the roof. You're going to make food cheaper, but what about our John Deere tractors? What about our pickup trucks, our trailers, our feed cost, our fuel cost? All of those things that we are still paying through the roof for. Just trying to make that banknote with a 8% interest rate has been beyond difficult for so many people in this industry. I am hoping and praying with all my might that as we wonder what's going to happen, and those few words that change everything for so many of us, that we will remember to put American agriculture first. Stand up for her. Keep her free.
So I'm seeing that everybody and their mother is upset that Trump is taking away the Department of Education. But the real question is, y'all are making all billions and billions of dollars every year. Yet kids have to pay for their own school lunches, for their own breakfast. They have to buy their own school supplies. Every year, the school does not provide nothing but old tables and chairs from 30 centuries ago. So where's that money being used? This is our tax-paying money, but it's not going towards the schools. It's not going towards the Department of Education. So where the hell is it really going? It's going into those people's pockets. That's the real reason why y'all are upset. Y'all won't be able to pocket those thousands and thousands of dollars that should be going into our kids. And y'all don't even understand how much money it costs us taxpayers. Seriously. Even the school libraries. Listen, when I used to be in elementary school and middle school and high school, I don't think not one printer in the library worked. I mean, of course, we had them out. It was like 6, 7 of them. But when you try to use it, oh, it doesn't connect. Honey, it's been 3 years and still the printer don't work. That's sad. Y'all aren't using the money on the kids. Y'all aren't paying these teachers properly who teach these kids every single day. And y'all have the audacity to be upset about this. Like, I just finished watching that video of that security guard stopping all those people from going into the building, and they're so upset. Like, what are y'all upset about? Because y'all won't get that money again? Like, I'm so glad that Trump is doing this. I don't know about y'all, but this is a very good thing because I'm so sick. I'm so sick of my money going into these rich people's pockets for what? When it should be going into our kids.
How do you think that this period of time in terms of economics is going to be taught in like the history books? Because growing up, you know, when we would learn about the Great Depression or about the 2008 financial crisis, it was always kind of served to us as like, you know, a lot of economic factors happened. There were a lot of variables, and you know that the economy is really hard to control, and things just kind of happen, kind of framed as an accident, like a large scale accident, right, that like no one had control over. But as I'm living through like my first economic crash as an adult, it's very obvious that so many of these things that have caused the economic strain, you know, that affects, you know, 80-90% of people, was very much intentional. It was very much planned and orchestrated for, you know, the lower class to feel this. It's very much an attack. I think that's a perfect word for it. Like, this is an economic attack. And going outside of economics, so much of policy is again framed as like, we didn't know that this would be an outcome, when now as an adult I'm starting to see that's exactly the outcome. Like, all of the shit that Reagan did in his administration, all of the policies that are still affecting us today. Like, I can't tell you, as someone who actually studied, you know, political science and public policy in college, like, I can't tell you how many things we learned about where it was directly tied to Reagan. And oh my God. Anyways, not gonna get too angry. But at the time, you know, again, it was made to seem that these things were unintentional consequences of these policies. And now I'm like, no, they were very much intended. They were very much, that's what they wanted to happen the entire time, right? So, but I don't think that's ever going to be put in the history books as like, yeah, we wanted the economy to crash, we wanted to hurt poor people. Like, that's never going to be what it goes on the history books, which I think is a shame.
Thank you to everyone who has watched these videos to the end. It's always amazing having you all here watching my videos, supporting me, giving me the voice. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. So my addition to these clips is that our administration has really failed Americans, and the one I would like to blame is not Republicans, it's the majority Democrats, you know, because Democrats are the majority in this country. Even, for example, a state like Texas. In Texas, Democrats are the majority, but they don't vote. This has led us to have an incompetent government, the likes of Homan, who are receiving bribes and acting tough. We have people like Pete Hegseth, who are showing to these military meetings while drunk. We have the likes of Kristi Noem, incompetent individuals. We have the likes of Pam Bondi, the worst of all. And then our supreme leader, who has no political experience, who has no business experience, who has built nothing in his lifetime except scamming people. Because when Trump came to office in his first term, his net worth dropped, right? His net worth dropped. And when we talk about Trump's net worth, I'm talking about Russia investment in his assets. Because Trump is a Russian asset. Tell me his name in the comment section. I would like to hear. Trump is a Russian asset. So in the second term is when Trump built something for himself through the crypto scams, you know, and these donations from these billionaires. You saw in the which company donated that 30 million to the construction of a White House ballroom. Was it Amazon or? Tell me in the comment section, because I'll be researching. I had it in a whiff. These billionaires are really contributing a lot to the Trump administration, and this has led to the Trump net worth increasing a lot. So tell me your thoughts about this Trump administration in the comment section. Because Trump said even he would end the wars, the Ukrainian war, the Israel war on day one. These wars are still ongoing. Trump is blaming Obama, he is blaming Biden, he cannot take responsibility. There is the floods in Alaska. There were these floods in Alaska, and there was no response, and their homes were being destroyed. We really have a lot of problems in our country because we are being led by an incompetent government, by a president who doesn't do his job, who is not doing his job. So tell me your thoughts in the comment sections. So what I usually say, our farmers are suffering, our small business owners are suffering, our local farms, small farms, they are suffering. Let's ensure that we support them whatever they are. The small businesses, the local farms, let's ensure that we support them because when they collapse, we are damned. So until the next video, watch Blue, talk Blue, listen Blue, vote Blue. Until next time, thank you for your attention to this matter.